Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Zoom. Hi, Jennifer.
Good morning, Kevin. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning, Teresa.
Morning, family.
It's good to be back.
Morning, Kevin. Morning, Sam.
Good morning. Hey, Adam. What's going on?
Good, Kevin. How you doing, brother?
I am good this morning. Thank you for that. I love that energy.
You're welcome.
Good
I
morning,
hope everyone is
everyone.
doing well as well.
I'm happy that you are doing well. Good morning, everyone. Welcome into space. Welcome back. Welcome back to Woo. Day 467. Can you believe that? I'm trying to split my screen. Why isn't that working right now? That's interesting. Oh, there we go. Yes. Good morning, good morning, good morning, as you all are coming into space. Welcome to another great morning. I'm all excited. This morning I released energy of anxiousness, but I also think it's more excitement, like I'm excited to be back with all of you. Hey, Facebook. Good morning to all of you. I know you can't respond to me, but the wonderful admin team is checking on all your comments. Good morning, Zakia.
Peace and blessings. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together.
Now, good morning, everyone. It's so good to be back in the Woo space and to see all of you and feel all the great energy. And I am saying and calling that we're going to have a great session today. My name is Kevin Anthony Joseph. I am 50 years old, and I always call this my 5.0 upgrade. I was a professional dancer and choreographer for over 20 years, and then I co-created a nonprofit organization that uses dance and the arts to inspire, our young people in our communities. I'm a first-generation Caribbean American via my parents from Trinidad and Tobago, and my mom did her wonderful thing about hiding her pregnancy as she boarded her plane to get me to the U.S. I'm a father, I'm an artist, I'm a community activist, and for the past 6 years, I've spent my time as an athlete and competitive cyclist. And I believe all these roles that I've played in my life just add to a plethora of experience that I feel is worth sharing today. And thank you for allowing me to share my experiences with you. Before we start, I'd love to do a breathing exercise. It's the most natural gift that we all have, and I'd like to take more advantage of it. And I invite you to join me in doing a breathing exercise before we start. So if you're laying down, if you're in your bed, it's fine. You don't have to come off of mute. You can stay laying down. If you're up already, just take a seated position and just relax. If you're driving, don't participate. But you can listen in and you can try it at home. So just kind of walk in with me. We're going to do this in two parts. So at first, we're going to take a deep inhale, and then we're going to slowly exhale like a pinball, a pin air, like if you were popping a balloon, but letting the air out very slowly until the air completely disseminates out of our body. And then we're going to repeat that 3 times. And then we're going to come back, and then we're going to blow really hard, just all the oxygen out, like a real forceful energy, like, and keep it going until you feel like everything is gone. And then we're going to inhale and slowly let it out. I'm going to do that 3 times. Okay, here we go.
Excuse me, Kevin.
Yes.
You want the audio for this one?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, please. If you can play that music in the background, that would be beautiful.
Happy feelings or thoughts?
Thoughts.
There you go. Got it. Thank you.
We'll just wait for the music. Well, it can come in as we're working. And slowly just close your eyes for a second, get yourself settled. We're doing a little separation from where we are in the day to where we are in this space. And just take notice of how you feel, what comes up. And sometimes emotions come up, and that's okay. And just kind of let them go. Don't let it stop what you're doing. Join me and take a deep inhale. Slowly let it out. Deep inhale. Slowly out. Last time. Deep inhale. And exhale. And relax. Normal breathing. This time, forceful air out. Push it all the way out. Deep inhale. Exhale. Deep inhale. Exhale. Last time. Exhale. Relax. Normal breathing pattern. Bring yourself back to consciousness. Sometimes breath work can cause a little dizziness. Get your self back stable. And just take notice of how you felt before you started. Take notice of how you feel now. And at the count of 7, we're going to open our eyes and we will start our session. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thank you. Tiffany, we could kill the music now. I love those moments to just take for yourself. Start your day. And not even just about starting your day, it's just about harnessing all the energy that you need to be as creative and as productive and as progressive as possible. Because all of that is already yours. I believe, and for me, I've given that energy away to everything that I'm responsible for, work and everything else. And it's nice to be able to have those moments where you concentrate on yourself. So I'd like to start with, before I start with that, anybody have any sharings that they want to, any thoughts that they want to share from their breathing, from their breath work? I invite you to come off mute and just, share what your thoughts were. Every time I do breath work myself, I have a different thought, like different thoughts come up. It's never the same. I could do them daily. I could do them once a week. It's always very different. But the end result is always the same. I always feel stronger and empowered and very grounded.
All right, let's see. Z, can you share what it was like to do the breath work, Zakia?
Sure.
Thank you.
One of my favorite things to do. I don't do it as often as I would like. I mostly do it here, and then occasionally I'll remember that that's something that calms my spirit, and I'll do it on my own. But anytime I do it here, I'm always empowered. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Z, for that. I know sometimes having a guide, pushes you to feel a little differently and you think differently.
Yeah.
But I think having the guide also just requires you to be a bit more patient with yourself.
Yeah, that's probably very correct. I'm very impatient with myself, generally speaking.
Okay, so Tiffany, I'd like to start off with a poll before I even go into what we're talking about today, which is don't be selfish with a question mark. So Tiffany, if we can launch the poll.
Okay, the poll has been launched.
I see it. Thank you. Don't be selfish with a question mark. And the first question is, were you taught not to be selfish? And think of that as a child as you were growing up. Quick yes or no. And we're going to actually talk about these responses, at the end of the session today. And then the next one was, what was your first thought when you woke up this morning? And really, what was your first thought when you opened your eyes? Was it something about work? Was it something about school, your children? And the children, you can make children or a spouse or a partner, financial commitments, or a personal thought. And while you're answering that, and I'm actually going to put my answer in there. That's yes. And boom. Adam said, when I do any breathing exercise, it gives me an opportunity to release any stress and anger and help me remain present and patient. Same here, Adam. I feel exactly the same thing. And I think that's what encouraged me to do it on a daily basis. So while most people probably have answered already, so I'm going to go on to what we're talking about, which is don't be selfish. We've all been taught, to not be selfish and to share and to, be concerned with others and not make yourself such a priority. Let me speak for myself. I have been taught that. But I believe over the years, I don't think I've understood the boundary of where not being selfish and making myself a priority where that line is. And I had this interesting conversation with my daughter one day, and she was going on a train. My daughter's 16, and she was going on a train, and she came back in the house to get her headphones. And I was like, well, you didn't really need your headphones. And she said, what? And be alone with my thoughts? No. I was like, well, what's wrong with that? She was like, oh no, that's way too much to handle right now. I just want to go to school and I want to put my music on and I want to focus on that. And that led me down this thought of thinking of like my whole past few years. And the past few years, were a struggle. There were a struggle emotionally, because even though my mom, I learned so much from my mom, directly and indirectly about providing, and she worked and she went to work each day and she ensured that I had everything I needed, even coming from another country and not having sort of like the culture of US down pat yet. But I believe the issues that developed with me over the years were because I didn't pay attention to, myself. I didn't pay attention to thoughts. I didn't pay attention to understanding why I did certain things and the reason why I did certain things. Why did I respond that way? Why didn't I respond? And those sort of like manifested over the years into actions or non-actions. And then you find yourself in a place where the world is falling apart. Well, you believe the world is falling apart because it's based on perception, for me. And if anyone has had that feeling, and as adults, I'm pretty sure you have, please drop something in the chat to say that, yay or nay, like I have been there, where you feel like the world is falling apart. And for me, the only way out, or the way to deal with everything, was to actually pay attention to, my emotional state and my physical state. That pairing of the two was like a buoy. It was like a life raft. And that became my sole focus, to just keep delayering, sort of like that onion, like taking one layer at a time and seeing something else, and actually being shocked sometimes with like the results of how you take something off. Like you take a layer of the onion off, like, oh wow, I didn't even know that was there. And then you get more questions, and then more questions gave you more directions. And it's sort of like in this forest, right? Where you think there's one pathway to get to the other side, but there are like multiple pathways to get to the other side. And then you end up going down a road of exploration and discovery. And then maybe you may back up and go down another road. And then I used to always question myself, like, why didn't I know that then? Why didn't I know that when I was younger? And I used to sort of like really like cripple myself with that. Like, why did it take me so long to learn that? Why did it take me so long to figure that? That's a real question. And it just, obviously at some point I let that go, and understood I am where I am based on experiences. But that became now my sole focus. My fitness life became more of the sort of like the partner journey to the conversations with myself on how to deal and how to understand how I've come up with some thoughts. So I'm going to pause there. And Tiffany, if we can bring up the results from the poll. And while that's coming up, if anyone would like to share about being selfish or being selfless, if there's something that resonates about taking care of others before putting yourself first, does that somehow come into play in your thought pattern or life experiences?
I will share, Kevin. Yes, I was taught not to be selfish. And oddly enough, I have a toddler in my house who we're teaching about sharing now and telling him not to be selfish. I think we might need to choose a new word or a new way of teaching that, because being selfish sometimes is self-preserving. I always think you can't give from an empty well. And so if you keep giving and keep giving, but you don't reciprocate back, you eventually get tapped out. So sometimes being selfish is self-care.
I totally agree with that. I think it's always self-care. Okay. So question number one was, were you taught not to be selfish? And it says 100%, but it says one person says no. So that's not 100%. But it says 20 out of 20 said yes. Yeah, it's a common thing, right? Not to be selfish. And of course, to a degree, yes, we want to be considerate of others because we don't want to come off as, arrogant people who only care about ourselves. But the topic of this discussion is, where's the line? Where's the line, and how do we make ourselves a priority so we can take care of others? Question number two was, what was your first thought when you woke up this morning? 4 out of 20 said work. No one said school. 4 out of 20 said children. 2 out of 20 said financial commitments. And 14 out of 20 said personal thought. That's actually a good thing. You know what? I should have had a follow-up question if I got more out of personal thought. I believe most of us have personal thoughts when we wake up in the morning, if we're not abruptly waking up with a thought. You can remove the share. Thank you. I've always had personal thoughts when I wake up in the morning, but then at the end of the day or throughout the day, what did I do about that personal thought? What was the action that I took on that personal thought? And did I deepen that personal thought? And those are sort of like the actions that sometimes I have not taken before to actually make a step closer to evolving that personal thought. And that personal thought may come back in the middle of the day or the next day. And we sort of brush it off as, I have brushed it off as not being a priority. And because, it's my personal self, it's not that important. I got projects to complete. I have this to go. I have this place to be at. I have to go pick up that. I have to create this. Like all these things become such a priority in our lives, and they are important because they're part of the society that we live in. But if we are the machine, if I am the machine in my society, in my circumference of people who I say I love and want to support, then me, the machine, has to be taken care of. And those mechanics and those parts that make up and define who I am need to be, I'm using car terminology, but needs to be lubricated, needs to be maintained, needs to be opened up, needs to be explored so we can find deeper levels and new pathways. If I can resort back to, I want to go back. You know what? Let me just go back to Jacqueline for a second. Her first thought was that I need to listen to something to raise my vibration. That was during the the breath work. Yeah, it just kind of, I don't know why, that just kind of popped out to me. And that was back at because it just happened just now. Machines need to be checked often. Thank you, Teresa. Yes, they do. Selfish, keyword. Thank you, Adam. Thank you for all those words. They make all the perfect sense. I want to go back to when I was talking about sort of investing in my time to just come out some of those darker spaces for the past couple of years. When I realized, when I go back to those spaces, none of my work was affected. Like my work life wasn't affected. My children's lives, as far as getting them to school or their projects, they weren't affected. I think all of that was like on autopilot, right? But my personal relationships were affected. There were some friends that I had lost. Romance life take a different turn that I didn't expect. And a lot of it came from not being able to have those discussions with myself, that emotional clarity, that emotional strengthening, that understanding of, why did you respond that way? Why didn't you respond? What does that mean to you? Is that thing important to you, or is it not important to you? What do you want to do for things that are important to you? And how do we prepare our body? The one piece of machine that we get to exist an entire lifetime. And that became my complete go-to. And actually, as a artist and dancer and choreographer, my body has been my tool for work for quite some time. But it was for work, right? I love dance, and that's what I did across stages across the country. But it was also for work. So there was a sort of another carrot there in order to really keep that moving. And then there was now prepping your body in order to be healed emotionally while you're building this physical machine, but also you are creating clarity and creating space for thoughts to live and creating solutions. And as an artist, I'm already creative. I choose to look at things creatively, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I had creative solutions on finding pathways out of situations. And quite frankly, right now, I don't even like to consider them finding creative ways out of solutions. I like to be creative to see, to foresee possible scenarios or situations or circumstances that may not be beneficial for my progress or the people who I say I love's progress. And I feel like my emotional work and physical pairing is sort of like some superhero tactic where I get to see the future before it lands. We all want that key, right? If you had a superhero ability, which one would it be? I want to see the future to some degree. I want to control it. I'm going to jump to the chat. Well, actually, Tiffany, if you can support me a little bit and just pull out a few chats to explore, and then we'll go to the slides.
Okay, great. So we have Nigel who shared, I was taught not to be selfish in the context of sharing what I have with others, from my brother to others in the world. At the same time, I was also taught to be selfish so that I could give myself what I needed, whether time or small rewards. We have,
Thank you, Nisha, for that.
yes. Adam says selfish is the key word, self.
Mm-hmm.
Dee said gratitude was her first thought this morning. Jacqueline says, my first thought was that I need to listen to something to raise my vibration. Terry says, I have learned there is a difference between self-centered and selfish. When I take time to see it is as taking time to center myself, and this is okay. Veronica Johnson shared, the opposite of selfish is selfless. And that is what I have been taught from early on, watching my grandmother, mother, and other adults in my life did not know how to say no.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
I saw an interesting, good morning. I saw an interesting conversation online the other day, and it made somewhat sense. And it was about preparing for the future. And they said, you get to buy one car, right? If you knew this would be your only car that you will have for the rest of your life, like pick any car you want. And we're going to buy that car for you. And the question was, okay, so once you get that car, you know this is the only car you're going to have. Like, what would you do with that car to ensure it's going to make it to, forever? This is the only car you're going to get. And of course, well, I mean, yeah, let's bring it here. Who would like to jump in and kind of co-create with me with this car scenario?
All right. We have Jacqueline said maintain it well. So we can bring Jacqueline into the space so that we can discuss maintenance.
Yes.
Good morning.
Jacqueline. Good morning. Good morning, Jacqueline.
Yeah, I'm trying to maintain now.
Not just said be selfish with it. You don't get to ride on my car. But Jacqueline,
Exactly. Not everybody
what
can drive it.
right? What else would we do with this car if we knew this is the only car we're gonna have?
We'd make sure to make those oil changes on time. We check
We would.
those tires every day, make
Mm-hmm.
sure that the tread is not being worn out. We would
Yep.
listen to it to make sure it's sounding the way it's supposed to sound. Because if it's sounding off, then something's wrong.
Right. Right. And when you get that card in the mail about, oh, it's your 3,000-mile checkup, we ignore that sometimes. Like, oh, I'll take it next month. We probably would take that in every time we get that card. Like, okay, can you just check it up? I just want to make sure everything is okay. And
Thanks
I
for the
feel,
reminder. My car is saying service due right now. It's been saying that
right,
for 2
that red
weeks.
light going off. I feel like all of that is such a comparison with our body and our minds. Like we get one, right? We get one to last us an entire lifetime. And I personally, outside of work, outside of my, dance career, I may have taken advantage of it's going to be there. I'm going to wake up in the morning and my body's going to be there. And we get concerned with it when something is concerning versus doing the work beforehand to ensure that we are either able to see what's coming down the pipeline or trying to prevent as possible, as much as we can, as much as we can control, because we only get one. And even with preparing and taking care of ourselves and our machine in that way, how much more creative things can we do when that is operating at full capacity? When we have the plethora of thoughts that we want to think about and that we want to create pathways into the future, when our bodies are acting at prime capacity and is able to, run, compete, feel empowered because we are pouring into it what we need, and actually it's pouring back into us. I know I felt incredibly energized and able to take care of my community because I have made sure that I am making sure that I'm putting myself first. I am making myself a priority. And that comes with discipline. But all of this of being selfish is not to say that we don't care about anyone else and that we're not being considerate. It is about how we make ourselves priority in this lifetime so that we are progressive enough and experienced enough and feel empowered enough so that we can take care of our community and our people who we say we want to take care of. And so that our tank just never runs dry.
Well, it's funny that you said that because I was thinking about that this morning. It took a very long time for me to get there, to start putting myself first and making myself a priority. It was always the kids, it was always my mother, it was always this one, that one, whatever. And I was in the background. So now that I'm spending more time making myself a priority, I'm starting to see where I had neglected myself. And I'm attempting to fix that as we speak. And so that has been difficult to get out of that way of thinking of putting other people first, because I noticed that when there's a crisis or somebody else is going through something, I run to that. I run to that regardless of how I may be feeling personally. And I am just starting to turn that around and I am complete.
Thank you for that. That's such a real thing. I can attest to that. I can so attest to that. My other note to that just kind of came up for me. I so agree with that. Like when someone else is going through something, or family or friends, and then we run, and we want to be that fixer and we want to help them through those times. But when it's our time to put ourselves first, for me, I have kind of like dimmed that light a little bit because somewhere I would hear this thought that that's not important enough at this moment.
Exactly.
Or that's, it's not life-changing. Like, I'll save that for later. Let me focus on everything else. And it's almost, for me, I've almost like hidden behind the veil of work, school, family, financial commitments, responsibilities. I've hidden behind that veil of who I truly am, because it's easier. Not to say that those things are easy, but it's easier then putting myself first and work on that. And maybe you find something different, and maybe you find a way to be even more productive because you're just even that much more at the forefront. And this car has all the oil changes and it has all the tire rotations. We've checked all the squeaks and we're making everything work at its prime function. Thank you for that. Tiffany, if we could just throw up the slides right now. I know we're coming to an end. I went over just a little bit.
Okay, no problem sharing the slides now. Just as I'm putting them up, let the community know how much time before we are complete, since some may need to jump off to head to work.
Got it. Thank you so much, community, for giving me this time. I'm going to take 7 more minutes to just go through these slides and have a closing statement, because I know we should have ended already. But I know, I want to honor everyone's time. And if you have to leave right now to go into your other commitments, I thank you for being with us. I thank you for being with me. And I hope to see you the next time I'm here. And thank you for this moment. And Tiffany, you can go to the share now.
Yes, trying to wait for them to go into present mode before I shared, but here we go.
That's okay.
Okay, can we see it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So while it does that, Kev, you had a hand up from Teresa.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to go there?
Yes. Let's do that.
Yeah, and Tiff, you
Yes.
may.
Hi, good morning, Kevin. Thank you for this beautiful conversation.
Good morning.
What I
Teresa.
love about it is that when you asked what car, I always wanted a Volvo. And I would definitely cherish it because I always wanted one. I think it's one of the most beautiful cars and it had a lot of leg room. And the other thing about it is that I would learn about it. That's something that I didn't learn. When I'm comparing myself to a car, I didn't learn about myself. I did not take the time to understand, like who Teresa was and what Teresa wanted. Even this morning when you said, what's good for me? That's the question I'm going to take to myself. I'm going to talk about this myself today. So just like, what's good for you right now? Because like I might have plans about stuff, but what is good for you right now? And I think that is a question that, I hope you come back for a 90-minute session. Another thing too. And I'm complete.
Thank you, Teresa. That was a very beautiful comparison and analysis of our lives to a car. So thank you for that. Okay, so first slide, we talked about putting ourselves first as a priority, our mental state, our emotional state, and our physical state as a comparison, and why it's so necessary to focus on ourselves in that way. According to Harvard University Center for Wellness, meditation is thought to work via its effects on the sympathetic nervous system, which increases heart rate, breathing, and blood pressure during times of stress. Yet meditating has a spiritual purpose too. It can help your creativity, your intuition, your connection with your inner self. If we analyze our life the way that it's running now, and for me, that's always my leading question, and it's always my self analyzation for where I am, where I want to be. Where I am right now, looking at how my life is designed, and it's a new way that I'm looking at myself, but how do I want to push myself forward and thinking of it in a creative way, and thinking in a scientific way, if our entire nervous system and our bodies were functioning in a way that is supporting creativity. So now, not even just you purposely thinking about being creative, but now your whole tool and function is now supporting you to even be more creative. And I would think about like, what are those possibilities if I focus more on those areas? And it's a growing process. I don't think I'll ever be where I want to be. It's a growing thing. Sometimes I don't get to do the things that I want to do that I know is a priority. But as we're growing and developing, and it's just I'm a working document, I notice and I see things like this that give you that bit of more information that pushes you even further to think beyond the limits of what you already know and to think past that. And now here's a new platform to exist in. Just a thought. Next slide, Tiffany, please. Again, according to Harvard University Center for Wellness, exercising starts a biological cascade of events that results in many health benefits, which we all know. High intensity exercise releases the body's feel good chemicals called endorphins. But for most of us, the real value is in low intensity exercise sustained over time. That kind of activity spurs the release of proteins called neurotrophic or growth factors, which cause nerve cells to grow and make new connections. The improvement to brain function makes you feel better. In people who are depressed, neuroscientists have noticed that the hippocampus in the brain, the region that helps regulate mood, is smaller. Exercise supports nerve cells growth. And that got cut off. Don't know how that got cut off. But we understand what it's talking about. You can kill the share, Tiffany. So if meditation and working through our emotional space, helps us to even be more creative, and then working on our body now releases endorphins, that is the feel good chemical. Now it should even feel good to even work on both of those at the same time. And when they're paired together, it's just a constant level of progress that I have noticed. And I've completely enjoyed from working through moments of distress, emotional stress or physical stress, and even not moments, and not waiting for moments of distress, but to use them as tools to further my thought span and thinking and how I want to be even more creative, not just as an artist, but as like a life designer. We are at the end of our time. I was wondering if I should open up for share, but I feel like we are really at the end, and I don't want to push it any longer. I just got really excited. Like I have to come on more, because then I won't run over time like this. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank the admin team. Thank Shawnee. Thank Tiffany for supporting today's conversation. And I thank all of you for coming and allowing me to share some of my experiences. And I hope it's been beneficial for you of listening and participating in this way. And I'm always extremely excited, and I'm forever learning in my Woo community. I'm very appreciative, and thank you for joining me today in Don't Be Selfish. And I'm complete.
Thank you, Kevin. Life designer. For those of us who are on the anthology team, we might need to add that to our wooisms.
Oh.
All right, I'm about to share the closing slides. Are there any voices before we move into closing? Please raise your hand. I'll come off of mute. Don't want to leave anybody hanging.
Seeing except on the side.
Veronica? Okay, no. All right, here we go.
Oh, thank you, Kevin. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
I missed something because my son was talking to me at the same time. So I need a recap. So are we saying goodbye? What are we doing?
We are saying goodbye.
Kevin, thank you very, very, very much. All that I got, it makes me reflective about what I need to think about as far as being selfless, not being selfless. And thank you. I'm sorry for being distracted.
No, that's okay. that is all right. Any participation part of it is worth it, because you got what you were supposed to get. So thank you.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
So my special offer is one participant receives a complimentary consultation of health and fitness lifestyle as a way to see our lives furthering in a design that we want for ourselves. I'm offering that up to our Woo community, and the winner has 48 hours to schedule the session with me. I'm going to pick a number.
Between 1 and 32.
Between 1 and 32, and my number is 13.
Lucky number 13 is Jacqueline.
I knew it.
Got to continue that conversation.
I accept.
Excellent. Thank you, Jacqueline. See, and you knew that, right? You knew that. Your intuition was right on the money.
Yeah, I felt it. Thank you.
Here is my contact, screenshot it, especially for you, Jacqueline, but anybody else, if you'd like to reach out with any other questions or thoughts, there's my phone, Facebook, Instagram. I'm heavy on Instagram. Email, any one of those gets right to me, and I'll gladly respond to your inquiry.
Thanks again.
Well, if we enjoyed today, our next sessions have even more powerful facilitations. The next one coming up is facilitated by my very own spiritual sister. Join us on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, November 30th, for High on the Hog, When the Ancestors Speak, facilitated by Catherine Mbali Green Johnson. And the next coming up is join us on Wednesday, December 1st, for Harnessing Your Sacred Feminine Energy to Support the Divine Masculine in Yourself and in Relationships, facilitated by Joy Reichel. I think I said that correctly.
That's correct. Got it, got it.
Here we go. Here we go. Thank you very much, Kevin. Let's welcome all new members to the Woo Nation. So if today is your first session, please drop it in the chat. Let us know that you are here. We want to welcome you to a community where we come to choose to learn, to elevate and ascend. We are still accepting survey responses to the Woo Anthology survey that we are working on. So please complete your survey. Deadline has been extended to November 30th. We're looking forward to reading your responses so we can come up with the themes of the book and begin to build out so that we can release in time for our 2nd anniversary. So please, 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 we're begging you. If you haven't received it, please copy the link. It's bit.ly/Woo Stories. You can go on and submit your responses yourself. Even if today was your first day, your responses count. This is the Wake Up Everybody schedule. We are live on Facebook and Zoom 5 days a week. Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 7 to 8:30, and Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 7:30. We're streaming live on Facebook and on Zoom. So if you want notification when it's time to hop onto one of those platforms, please text the word Woo Nation to 74121 for your morning texts and alerts. Have you ordered your Woo swag today? Shop us at bit.ly/Woo swag. Get your face mask, your t-shirts, your sweatshirts, your water bottles, your coffee mug. It's gift giving season. These make wonderful gifts for you to share with your family and friends, especially when you invite them to join us in the morning. They can rep the, I'm stuck on the word. They can rep the nation too. Wow. Coffee in the coffee mug coming up soon. Thank you, everybody. Here's how you stay in touch. Register at bit.ly/Wake Up Movement. You can follow us on Facebook in our private community, which is bit.ly/Woo Community, or join us publicly at bit.ly/Woo Nation. We're on Instagram at Wake Up Everybody Virtual, on YouTube at bit.ly/Woo on YouTube. And you can always email us at info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. We're always looking for more facilitators, admins to bring this community message every day. At this time, I'm going to stop the screen share, invite everybody to come off of mute. Thank Kevin for his time and his knowledge and what he shared with us today. Thank you, Kevin. Love it. About to be selfish. Come on, everybody.
Tiffany.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
brother
This
Kevin,
was
for the
Kevin.
amazing.
Thank
exercise.
you.
And
Thank
I
you.
love
Thank
90
Meditation
minutes,
before you go
90
to
Kevin.
work.
minutes, 90
Your
minutes, 90
prioritized
minutes.
life.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Kevin.
Kevin,
Thank you.
time.
Blessings to
Well,
you and
bless
the
you
entire
for it, everybody.
community. Thank you. Have a great week.
All of you.
It's time.
Thank you,
Take
thank you.
care.
Ooh, and we got a song. Thank you.
Hey, it's time to take care of ourselves. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
I'm going to coin that. I'm going to coin that.
Love y'all, family.
Love you too, Teresa.
We
Oh,
got this, y'all. We got this. We got this. We got
We
this.
got this.
Okay,
We're
thank
going
you.
to do this together.
And I'm